All right, we are recording today. I do have a fun little video. Let me close my door real quick. Okay. So I do have a video. It's somebody new today. We have not listened to him before. His name is Brendon Burchard. He's a pretty awesome little guy. He's kind of like he's like the nerdy version of Tony Robbins is how I like to look at him. Like he's just kind of like he's a little nerdy, but he has so many good thoughts that I just love him. Like he's super cute. Actually, let's see, not my first year I went to Summit, but the second year I went to Summit, he was one of the guest speakers, and he did an amazing job. Like he had us all laughing, crying, emotional. Like it was just literally such a good speech. And so I fell in love with him then. He writes the book, The Charged Life, or he also has High Performance Habits. He has just a couple really good books that are out there that I have a couple of them on audiobook as well. But I found this little video that I think is going to be good for us, that can maybe bring us some fun stuff, some fun information to kind of talk about. So let's screen share here. Okay. So this is Mr. Brendon. And let's hear what he has to say for us today.
People ask me, Brendon, how do I reprogram my mind? And I'm like, that's kind of creepy. Are you a cyborg? Like, why did somebody one time like ninjutsu your brain and hypnotize you into thinking something horrible? Like, why do you need to reprogram anything? Most adults don't need to reprogram something. They just need to program it for the first time. You know, it's like there was never actually any programming that happened anywhere. There were just all these patterns of incidences and these circumstances that have all coalesced into sort of these automatic thoughts and behaviors that they aren't necessarily being responsible for. They come up automatically and they happen to them. It's not like someone said, I want you to think this, I want you to think this, I want you to. No one ever sat you down and probably just like, woo. Maybe it happened, but for most people, that never happened. What they're really saying is, Brendon, I need to get a hold of my mind, man, because sometimes I just got these constant negative recurring thoughts that come up. I can't get rid of them, or sometimes I get obsessed about this one bad thing that happened to me, or sometimes I say, I just can't even control my attention, dude. So what they're really struggling to do is to master their mind in a more sort of capable way. So let's talk about how your thoughts are generated. And some of this you might already know. If you read my book, The Charge, or you've seen some of my other work in High Performance Academy, we talk a lot about how do you master your psychology. I'm going to give you one simple framework to think through, and then some tips and tools and strategies you can immediately input into your life to better manage your mind. The first thing, if you're having negative recurring thoughts and feelings that are coming up, those are really, they're easy. And here's what I mean by that. We kind of have two systems of thought, psychologists like to say now. We have the system one theories, in which the system one is your automatic, just unconscious, immediate thoughts and impulses that come up from your body that usually your brain is just saying, hey dude, we've thought through this before, or hey dude, we're trying to protect you. So it's running at a very baseline, easy, energetic level. Your brain loves to optimize itself. It doesn't like to have to do a whole lot of thinking. It just likes to say, what do we already know? How can we apply it to this situation? So if you had fears in the past and a similar situation is here, your body just generates those fears and says, hey man, run away again. If you had the challenges in the past and you want to protect yourself, your brain just says, hey, protect yourself right now, we're worried about this. But sometimes those are not helpful thoughts. They're automatic, but they're not actually helpful. It's just your brain saying this is the easiest route we know. And part of becoming a more mature, conscious, enlightened person is to better take control of our system two, which is our sort of conscious dashboard on our mind, our ability to more directly work, control, generate, and create our own thoughts and behaviors in the moment, not relying too much on just the things that come up for us. Now, of course, we're always going to. Most of our lives is very system one driven, very unconscious, automatic. We're just going through the motions. But the people who achieve the peak amounts of success, the highest performers in the world, have said, you know what? I need to discipline my mind to support me even when it comes up with an automatic, immediate thoughts. I want those to be positive and buoyant and confident and strong, something that leads me to healthy decisions for my life, not just things that protect me. And so I think that we have to learn how to do that. One of the simple ways to do that is this framework to understand how thoughts develop into strong and automatic thoughts in our lives. I call the framework RWID, which stands for relative, weight, of importance, and duration. People often who have negative recurring thoughts and feelings in their life, the reason those keep coming up all the time is because they at some point in their life or continually are giving those thoughts, the negative ones, more attention than necessarily any other thoughts. In other words, the relative weight that they give those thoughts is quite high. And they give a lot of importance to them. So those thoughts are very important to me right now. And they're durational. They last over a period of time. They keep thinking about those thoughts, thinking about those thoughts, thinking about those thoughts. And it's all that repetition that seals it in the back of their head. And now their head says, oh, this is an easy thing. I know this one. And it pulls it forward. So that simple repetition, because they made it important and they thought about it a lot, it keeps coming up for them over and over and over again. So there's a good negative thing about that and a positive thing. The negative is if you keep obsessing about negative things, your mind will be automatically conditioned to bring it up more and more and more often without your control, just automatically. The positive aspect is we can use that same skill set and that same rule to apply positive thoughts into our own life. We can give positive thinking, positive questions, positive approaches to life a lot of importance in our life and a lot of focus, and focus on them and give a lot of duration to them over a period of time, and they get sealed in the brain as well. And now the brain says, well, that's easy, automatically thinks about it. So for me personally, I've done this so much in my life that I automatically think about the best possible outcomes in almost everything I do. I used to think about the negative outcomes. I thought, that's not supporting me. So how did I do that? Well, leveraging RWID, it helped. And let me break it down for you a little bit about how you could do this, because the first thing you have to do in order to improve your mind is take total control of your attention and notice, where are your thoughts right now? At a very continual basis, you have to think, where are my thoughts right now? Are they supporting me, or are they automatically coming up negative and self-protective in ways that are not advancing my life? Just to be aware, to be conscious of what's going on in your body, in your sense of feeling and emotion, and the sense of the thoughts you're actually having. Just start paying attention. You know, for a lot of people, because they've never done this before and it's hard to remind them to do it, it's like simple. Here's what I want you to do. Just start paying attention to your thoughts anytime you're in line. Anytime you're in line from now on. If you're in line at Starbucks, just say, I'm in line at Starbucks. Brendon said, think about my thoughts. What are my thoughts saying right now? Just checking in. You're in line in traffic, waiting for the next car. Just sit and think, what are my thoughts right now? And just notice what you've been thinking about. The more that we notice what we've been thinking about, the more we can interrupt what we've been thinking about. See, if we just allow that feeling to keep coming up and you don't pay attention to it, our life can be very frazzled and very highly anxious. But once we say, what's my mind on right now? And we redirect it, that is where personal power comes from. First, awareness, right? And understanding and the consciousness to what's going on. But then the ability now to be self-directive, to choose what we want to focus on. So first we're attentive to it, and then redirect it. If it's negative, it's not supporting you, redirect it. How do you redirect it? First and foremost, you just say, what would be the opposite of this negative thing? Then you think about the positive thing, and you focus on that, and you repeat it to yourself. For many people, that might include closing their eyes, just visualizing a more positive outcome. Thinking about the more positive outcome, thinking about the more positive outcome, thinking about the more positive outcome, focusing on it with their eyes closed. And that visualization of a more positive outcome, of how things could turn out well, or how the situation could be better, or even just what are the next steps I should take. Visualizing that and assigning a high amount of importance and duration to it, meaning making that thing important to us by making it, how do you make something important? You give it a sensation. You feel that thing. You sense it. You sense what your next step would be. You sense how it would feel if the outcome would be better. How would it feel emotionally, psychologically, spiritually for that thing to be happening? Allow it to have a lot of emotion to it. Pay attention to it. Your eyes closed, you see that thing, you feel it, you sense a different step, you know what you're going to do. You pay attention to it, and you keep focusing on that. Just over a period of minutes, keep focusing and keep focusing and focusing. When your mind automatically wants to go back to the easy, which might be negative, you go, no. I'm not into easy right now. I'm into conditioning my mind. Focus. Give attention, duration, and sensation to it. Attention, duration, sensation. Attention, duration, sensation. Visualization. It's repetition of that positive alternative to a negative impulse that comes up that gives us personal power. Let me say it again. It's that attention to that positive alternative over attention to repeating that negative impulse or thought that gives us personal power. It's not that we're going to someday wake up in the perfect world in which we don't have negative thoughts. There's plenty of times I struggle too. I come up with this, I'm thinking about a new dream, a new goal. I'm going to go interview some major celebrity, or we got a big time celebrity client, and I get a little nervous, and I can start thinking about all these negative things that could happen if I screw up. My mind immediately interrupts that now, because my mind goes, relative weight of importance and duration, Brendon. You can either give this thought more time and energy and focus, or you can just stop it and force your brain, creatively force it to direct it to a different possible alternative. Force it. Literally go, oh, I'm sensing this negative thing over here is coming up for me. I'm sensing it. Stop. Okay, get to work, brain. What positive thing could I create and focus on? And close your eyes and think about it and focus on it and focus on it and focus on it and build it out. Make it elaborate in your own mind so you can visualize and see it and feel it and focus on it, focus on it, focus on it. Literally, later on in the evening, focus on it again, focus on it again. I mean, you start building in that capacity. Now, if this all sounds way too philosophical and you're like, dude, how do I land this? How do I make it happen? Here's a very simple thing you can do to reprogram your mind. Create a sheet of 2 simple things, very simple things. I want you to write 5 questions down that you're going to ask yourself 3 or 4 times a day. 5 questions that are positive for yourself. That every day, you're going to wake up in the morning, you're going to read these questions to yourself, you're going to answer them. You're going to read them, you're going to answer them every morning. Then at lunch, read the questions, answer them. At night, read the questions, answer them. These can be questions like, what can I feel incredibly grateful for right now? How could I surprise or flirt with somebody right now? How could I have fun right now? Positive things like that, right? How could I demonstrate love or excellence right now? Ask these questions in the morning. Ask them in the afternoon. Ask them at night. By asking these positive questions over and over, I mean, you just do this for 30 days, you're going to recognize a total shift in your life. Just simple questions, but you're giving them weight by focusing on them 3 times during the day. You're having duration by focusing on it 3 times during a day over 30 days. Your mind starts to reshift its gears to give automatic ease to answering those questions and living in that mindset versus an undirected, unconscious mindset. Second thing on that sheet, or those things you can do, 5 questions first. Second thing I want you to do is come up with 3 words that describe your ideal self. Just 3 words. Mine are, for example, present, excited, and bold. So I'm going to focus on those questions 3 times a day as well. What I do is I put them on my iPhone, and they come up as an alarm 3 different times during the day. Just my phone buzzes, and those words are there. I'm like, oh, right. I'm that guy. I got to focus on being that guy versus whatever. I might be in a bad mood. I'm like, and completely detached. And then I look, I'm like, dude, no, I'm an excited person. Break that thought. Get back into this. Got it. This is who I am. And now that might sound so simpy. It sounds so simple. But guess what? People won't do the discipline. They are so frustrated with their mind because they haven't done the conscious discipline to reprogram it. That's the last thought here. Yes, we all have unconscious thoughts, every single person of us. If you don't have a mental disorder, then guess what? You have extreme power in your life to overtake it. And even those who have mental disorders, psychologists and therapists work with them to recondition their mind by allowing them a different way of attaching meaning to the past incidences. But even if they attach a different meaning to the past, the whole focus is bring them into today and teach them to use their mind to direct itself into positive orientations, to make healthier decisions, to enact healthier behaviors. If you can just focus on getting more attentive to what you're feeling And then do these thought exercises. What questions? Who do I want to be? And you do that over and over again, everything changes. Last thought, our unconscious and our mind is incredibly programmed not just by thought, which is what I've been talking about, relative weight of importance and duration, focusing our attention on what questions we would ask ourselves, what positive alternatives can we create for ourselves, what labels can we create for ourselves to support us. But our mind also is incredibly conditioned by action, behavior. You've heard the term like fake it till you make it. I don't love that. I'd rather just say, you know what? Just be authentic over and over and over and over again, right? If you take action on a consistent basis, it teaches your mind to do that. So do things that are positive for yourself. Take bolder actions. Teach yourself. I'm just going to be confident, just for no other reason. Watch my video on being confident here on YouTube. I want you to really think about this. The more that you take action, the more your brain gets automatically conditioned to understand that's what we do. Hey man, that's just what we do. We just react to bad situations like this because that's how we've done it. You can actually condition your mind without doing any thought other than just behaving in a more positive manner. And suddenly you find yourself thinking more positively. I know it sounds duplicitous, but word is duplicitous? I think it's word. Sounds good word. It's like a $10 word right there. That's a big word for a Montanan. But I really want you to think about that. Your actions condition your mind as much as your recurring thoughts condition your mind. So be a person of good, positive thinking. Be a person of good, positive action. And suddenly one day you'll wake up and you're like, I just feel amazing. I feel extraordinary. I feel positive. And that's what it feels like to live the charged life.
Oh, Brendon, it's been a while since I've heard something from him. Does anybody else think he's like kind of just like a silly little nerd kind of like, but he has such good info and it comes from like such like a cute place. Like, so he's got a really good story as well. He actually, he almost lost his life in a car accident, at like a younger teen age. And he was just kind of like, messing around with one of his friends, just kind of like living life. And they almost got in a car accident and they'd almost died. And he said at that moment, he had this flash in his life that he was just like, what am I doing? Like, if I would have died, I would have died doing nothing with my life, And so he really started to switch his life around and become like a motivational speaker and a motivational person, and that really kind of forged him into like who he is now. And he has like a ton of YouTube videos, you guys, so like, and they're all just kind of like that, just like how to do this, and it'll be like a list of 5 things. So he's a really great person to reference to if you're looking for something specific, because his YouTube is also very specific. Like sometimes you can go to certain people and it's like motivational talk and you're like, okay, but what about, and you're just like, I don't really know if that's what I want to listen to or not. His are very more specific and organized, and it's kind of nice to be able to go to his and be like, oh, this is what this video is going to be about. So you can kind of get specifics with him. It's interesting though that video came up because they actually chose it yesterday before I kind of knew about everything else that I just talked to you guys about this morning. And so it was interesting because like, that's all I kept thinking about though, was like the thought of, somebody who's suicidal or something like that. It's like, man, like maybe they just didn't have the tool, like the one tool that kept them from negative to positive. Like maybe he just didn't have that one little tool that could keep him over here instead of allowing him to spiral over here. And so it's kind of interesting to have this video about controlling your mind and how important it is, but also, you guys, how much effort it takes. Like, don't think that the positive mindset is just going to be a flip of a switch and you're just going to live over here, right? It takes constant effort to stay here. Even someone like him, he said, I've been angry, and he goes, and I have to remind myself, no, this is not how I'm choosing to react. Stop that right there, come to this side and condition, boom, boom, boom. And it's going to take twice as much effort to stay over here as it is to be over here. Because the negative is easy, right? It's so easy to be like, oh my God, we're all gonna get sick, we're all gonna die, like, you know what I mean? Like from the pandemic, like it's so easy to be like, to just spiral, right? In that negativity. But it takes effort to spiral in positivity. To be like, oh, you know what, maybe we'll just all learn about time management and maybe we'll all just kind of adjust the way, you know, it takes more effort for me to even think of like spiraling in positivity. But he's really just telling you that the more you do it though, the easier it becomes. The more we condition ourselves over here to stay here consciously, the more we'll be able to stay over here. But as soon as we recognize we've come back over here, which can happen like that, you may have had a whole positive day and one instance will happen that will be like, and it will suck you right back into negative land, right? Like how quickly can we fall over here? It can happen like that. You find out one piece of information, one phone call, one scroll on the social media and you see something, right? And you go, negative land, and you just sit here and then you start to spiral and you're feeding it and you're feeding it and you're feeding it and it's getting bigger. And there has to be a moment where you go, whoa, I was feeding that beast. I was feeding that negative beast and it was growing, right? I'm going to stop that right now. Regardless of how far I just took that, I'm going to stop it right now. No guilt, no shame. And I'm just going to come over here to positive land, right? Because that's one thing that I do is like, I feel really guilty when I get really negative. Then I start beating myself up. Like, how dare you even think that? How dare you know, and I start to be like, oh, you would think it like that, Jenny. No. And then it starts to spiral again. And it's like, no. Recognize, no guilt, no shame. It happened. We're going to let that go. And we're going to breathe in positivity. And it's going to take massive effort. And you might, like he said, have to sit and go, okay, I literally can't think or look at anything else. I'm just going to sit here like this. And I'm just going to condition my brain. You guys, we have years of damage that we have to fix, right? Like most of you guys are around my age or older, 30, older, maybe. We have years of living in that valley and negative land that we have to fix, right? So it's not going to just be a little flip of the old fingers and we just live in positive land. Like I would love to tell you that that's the way it is. But I think at this point, we can be real and honest and know that it's not that easy, right? It's that easy to come over here. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's that easy to come over into negative land, right? But that's not where we want to be, right? Like that's not why you're here. That's not what you're trying to get from here. You're trying to say, okay, Jen, I want to live over here in positive land, but it's really freaking hard, right? And I'm like, I know. I'm trying to live there too. But if we just keep conditioning and keep focusing and keep working in this realm, eventually, it may take years, but eventually, as we keep living over here, life will keep feeding over here, okay? But the moment we slip into negative land, boom, we're backtracking. And it's like, oh, dang it, come back over here. Come back over here. It's almost like the little kid that like keeps getting out of line and you just have to like keep putting them back in line, like keep getting back in line. And they're like running off and they're like, but I gotta wash my hands. And you're like, get back in line. Like you just have to like keep putting yourself back in line. Treat yourself like a 5-year-old if you have to, you know, get back in line where you're supposed to be and focus. And sometimes your little ADD brain will go frolic around and you gotta be like, yo, come back in line, right? Like get back over here and get a grip of it. And it's gonna take so much conscious effort to keep us over here. In the moment you slip to autopilot, you're most likely gonna go negative.
So if I could pipe in for just a hot second, I was experiencing this yesterday, and even with my like, Elika, be kind to yourself. Like, you know, like, because I've been practicing this for a little bit, it was still like, I cried probably like 6 or 7 times yesterday for no reason, you know? So even, I think just even the recognition of like, if you're able to recognize and try to be positive, like sometimes you're still gonna feel and think in the gutter, and that's okay, as long as you still take care of yourself and still do it. Like I still came to the meeting yesterday, I still did yoga, you know, I still did a lot of the things that I'd committed to myself to do. And I knew that today would be a little bit different, you know what I mean? So I think it's, yeah, like to keep doing it is super important, but also just to remember that even in the moments of you know, like pulling yourself back together, like it might not be 100%, and that's okay. Because I even yesterday was like, what's wrong with me? Like I'm recognizing these things and I'm saying, Elika, like give yourself a break, and I'm still like feeling and thinking really crappy. So I think just recognizing that like sometimes we feel and think that way, and it's fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And sometimes that's even harder when you're aware of the
it was not a good day for me yesterday.
That is so hard, right? When you're like, why am I being so negative? Like maybe even something did happen, or maybe something didn't happen. That's even worse. When you're just like wake up in a bad mood and you're like, seriously, Jen, like what is your problem? You're snipping at everybody. You know you're doing it for no reason, but yet you're still doing it. Like, and that is so frustrating. Oh my gosh, I get so frustrated at myself when I just like know I'm being a bee and I shouldn't be, and I'm just like, what is your deal? So that's super. That's one. Oh, I bet he's 1 year old. Oh, I was right. Look. Hey, remember we're on my media. Okay, a couple minutes. Couple more minutes. You're doing good, Derek. You're doing good. Mom, look. But I think that is hard, is like that guilt, you know, like when you recognize, being very self-aware can come with a lot of hardships too. Hey, no, excuse me. No.
I always think too, like I always try to remind myself, like this is a season, or this is a moment, or this is a situation that is not going to last forever. Like, yes, this is a day, this is an emotional day, a draining day, but guess what, tomorrow's a new day. Like how I'm feeling now is not going to last forever. Okay, it's gonna pass. You're gonna, you know, wake up feeling great, you know, tomorrow maybe, you know. But like even like the stretch that I had with KK, you know, my baby girl not feeling good, that lasted for, you know, 2 weeks, but I had to keep telling myself, she's gonna get better. Like this isn't gonna last forever. Like I see light through this darkness, and I'm gonna become stronger when this is over. So you had to keep reminding yourself that too. Like there is an end, okay? You're gonna get through.
Yes, and something I was trying to verbalize yesterday and I couldn't put it into words is the idea that when you have that, like this isn't going to be forever thought, to recognize that when you do come out of it in 4 days, 5 days, whatever, like you're going to feel, I cuss a lot, so I apologize if anybody is like anti-cussing, but you're going to feel like shit if you don't stick to the things that you've promised yourself you're going to do over those 4 or 5 days, like, because you are going to come out of it, Neil, like you said. And where do you want to be when you come out of it? Do you want to be like, you know what I mean? Do you want to be even lower than you were when you started because you know, allowed your negative feelings to take over? Yeah, absolutely. Like, and I could not put that into words yesterday for some reason. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah, like, and I just wanted to add to that, Elika, like you said, you're going to get through it, but how are you going to get through it? You're still going to push play and work out every day. You're still going to get your nutrition, you know, you fuel your body the correct way. Those are things that we can control. You have to control the things that you can, because obviously your mind's somewhere else. And no matter how much you want to get out of it, you're not able to, but control what you can. So when you do come out, you're like, wow, I still took care of myself through that. I still pushed play. I still ate well through that storm. Like, wow, not coming out of it like, man, you know, I sat down and ate a whole tube of ice cream. I didn't push play that whole time. Gosh, I feel like crap. I'm so bloated. I gained 5 pounds. Yeah, I like that, Elika. Awesome. Woo.
I love that too, because, and I was like, just like thinking of a few things like while I was listening to two of you, and like, it's interesting about how like sometimes we can feel so consumed by a day, but like you guys said, sometimes when you step back and you're like, oh, 4 or 5 days later, I'm coming out of this. Like I know, I love that quote, like this good or this hard time did not come to stay, it came to pass. And like, it can be really hard to remember that when you're in it, but this hard time, any hard time is not here to stay. There will be a point when you start working your way out of it. And if you can just remind yourself sometimes when you're in it, this sucks, but I'm in it and it won't be forever. And we're just gonna survive. I'm just gonna go through my basic motions I know I need to be doing, nutrition, workouts. These are the small things I can control. I may cuss through it the whole time, I may roll my eyes through it the whole time, but I'm gonna freaking do it. You know, it's not gonna be like the world's best workout probably or whatever. I'm gonna do it, right? I'm gonna go through the motions I know that I should be doing if I was having my best day, you know? And then one other thing, like I was, shoot, you guys said something else that I was like, ooh, that's a good thing. Talking about it. Talking about it. Like Elika talked about it in her group yesterday. Like she expressed, like when you're having a bad day, sometimes I will be like around the house, I'm having like a bad day and I'm just like, and then Mike will be like, are you okay? Like, what is going on? And then I'll just be like, I don't know, I'm just blah, blah, and I'll just like word vomit, right? Like I don't even know what I'm talking about, but I just start word vomiting and I just start like maybe just like working through it out loud. Sometimes we are in here and it just seems so much worse than when I actually talk about it. Like sometimes just talking about it with Mike, like after I ran the other day and I was like totally beating myself up after that run, you guys, you have no idea. And I was just like around the house and I was just like, I like kind of just had a chip on my shoulder the whole day. And Mike's like, you need to talk about that run? And I was like, yes, I do, you know? And he's like, all right, let's talk about it. So we just kind of like talked through it. And I like took a shower afterwards and I just kind of like imagined the shower like I'm just gonna wash that out. I'm just gonna wash it out and I'm gonna be okay. And I felt I wasn't the best, right? I wasn't like, okay, I'm back, woohoo, Happy Jenny is back. But I was like, all right, we can let that go. It was just a moment in my day. It doesn't reflect the entire day because I actually had a good day even before that, you know? And so it's like, how can I let this 20-minute run ruin my entire day? I was like, no, right? So I had my little pity party for like a hot minute afterwards. I talked to Mike, I took a shower, and then I got back to making dinner, right? Like I just was like, I can't mull over this. I can't allow this to just ruin the rest of my day. And it was like, but it helped when I talked about it. I think if I wouldn't have done my live video and talked to Mike about it and taken that shower afterwards and really envisioned it as like washing away the fear and anxiety, I would have let it ruin the rest of my day. Absolutely. Hands down, it would have ruined the rest of my day. Had I not released it from my body, you know, talking about it, envisioning it going away and finding something else to focus on afterwards, like making dinner, I don't think that I would have gotten rid of it, you know? I would have it just would have sat here and spun and spun and spun in my head over and over and over again until it just was like blue in the face, you know? So sometimes just talking about it, like, you know, Elika has a whole group that she runs. So she runs like her entire group that she coaches, and she just talked about it. She was like, yo, not a good day. Going through the motions though, still showing up, but not my best day. And that's okay. but tomorrow I'll see you again. Right? Like they know that they can still count on her to show up and be there regardless of whether she's at her high or at her low. She's going to show up. And that in itself is going to help pull her out so much quicker. Right? Like when you continue to show up, you're going to pull yourself out twice as fast. Like think about, you know, even just before you were working out or before any of this kind of came into your life, like how long you would sit and maul on something compared to how you do it now. Because for me, I could let things easily ruin an entire week. An entire week, if not more, right? Like now it's like, I give you a day. And then I'm just like done with you. I'm like done with that. Maybe another day if like it was, you know, really something extended or I'm still working through it. But like I just can't live in negative land for very much longer, right? I may still struggle. I may still have a little bit of a struggle a few days later, kind of getting back in my routine or getting back in my groove, but I'm forcing myself into positive land at that point. But before, dude, I would love it when negative land would come around. I'm like, let's feed it. Let's throw wood on the fire. Woohoo! Let's have friends over and let's all just bitch together, right? Like that's what we used to do. Like, let's build a bigger fire and then have more people come and be around the fire and let's feed this crap. And it was just like, it would just extend the problem so much longer. And now I'm like, hey, let's have warrior hour. Let's talk about it. Like for me, I had to talk about that when we first got on the call. I was like, I have to talk about this because it is in my brain. And if I don't just purge it out, I'm going to spiral on it. Right? I was like, I have to express this immediately. It has to be purged from my brain and just expressed because then also I kind of get to work through it when I express it out loud. I kind of get to hear it too. Like, okay, how bad is it really? Or what do I really think about this? Because sometimes when you hear it out loud, like if you ever said something to somebody and you go, oh my God, that sounds so silly out loud. I can't believe I was even thinking that in my brain. Because the moment I said it out loud, I was like, that's so extreme, you know? And so sometimes things sound worse in our brain, but when we hear them out loud, we're like, oh, okay, let's work through this, you know? So it's definitely very interesting. I'm going to pop over and read Nicole's comment here real quick. Going to grab a shower and wash the stress away after having kids all day. I love that. Dude, the shower, you guys, the shower can be very symbolic, like, to be honest. Like, to me, whenever I'm like in the shower, I just imagine like things just being washed away. And it may feel silly the first couple times you do it, but if you can just kind of be like, okay, yes, I know this is silly, but Jen said try it, so let's just try it, right? Humor me. And just next time you're in the shower, I just want you to bring those negative thoughts to the forefront of your mind. Be like, okay, I was worried about this today. I was worried about the kids. I was worried about my job. I was worried about my husband's job. We're kind of 2 months into this pandemic. I've been in my house for 60 freaking days. You know, these are the negative thoughts I've been having. Let's bring them to the forefront, turn that shower on, and just go, I'm just going to let those go. I acknowledge them, and now they're going down the drain. And they're being washed from the tip of my head down to the tip of my toes, and they're being washed down that drain. And they no longer serve me after the shower. I'm going to step over here into positive land. And I may need to take a little extra longer in the shower just to fully get them all the way down the drain, right? Like, you don't get out of the shower until they are down the drain, every single one of them. And you might have to actually visualize this, like imagine it like trickling down into your stomach, down your left leg, into your knee, and out your freaking big toe, okay? Like, so this is something that we learn like in massage therapy. It's usually the opposite. We do grounding. So because when I touch people, I don't want to pick up people's energies. So we do grounding. And that is from the other way around. So I always picture myself as like this tall, tall tree. So this is kind of like a fun little thing that you can do. So if you're ever with somebody that has negative energy, or you're going to be in a situation where you feel like you're about to get negative energy and you need to be like, dude, I need to create my bubble Like I need to keep my positive energy here, and we need to keep that over there. So you can, I always think of myself as like a big tall tree, and I imagine my roots, okay? So like my roots just go like into the ground and they just grow. Like if you could just close your eyes and you just imagine your roots just like growing into the ground and just rooting you. Like no one could freaking move you, you know? And then you just like imagine this big, strong, tall trunk. It's just holding you and it's supporting you. And then you imagine all these branches just out and reaching for wide open, just hugs and love and all this good stuff right here. And then you have your protection and you are just so rooted and nothing can move you, nothing can falter you, right? And that's how I kind of go into my massages, is that I'm a rooted, beautiful tree and nothing can stop me and nothing can touch me. And then I go in and I kind of am able to protect myself then because I'm rooted, right? Like my feet, I massage with no shoes on. So I know that my feet are on the ground. Like I want to be rooted because no one can move you then. Okay. So that's something that you can like kind of guard yourself as well. Like imagine like a giant force field. Maybe you got kids and you're like Violet from Incredibles. Like if you guys ever just like you're a big freaking force field, you've got this big old force field around you and nothing can touch you, and you can protect it and you can make it go bigger out over your family and protect them as well. You just got to find what works for you. You know, these are little tricks that work for me to keep me grounded, that keep me protected, that don't allow other people's energies to come into mine. You got to find what works for you. Okay. And so that self-love absolutely is so freaking important, Brittany. It's like all that self-love and you're going to feel it. And sometimes I can picture myself in the shower as that big old tree, you know, like no, like I'm the giving tree almost. Like I can give and give and give. You know, if you guys ever seen that book, it's such a good book, but it's so such a great metaphor too, you know, for life. It's like people just want to take until you have nothing left, you know. I want you to root yourself and say, you know, I'm able to support you, but I can't give you all my branches, right? Like I can't do that. I can't give you everything of me. I can support you from over there, that you're going to be a tall tree and grow and you can root yourself as well. And then we'll grow together. So that's what I would like to think here is like, I'm creating you guys into big trees. I'm not carrying you in my branches, right? I'm planting you and letting you grow for yourself. So one of my, there was one thing that he had said, like, what's 3 words that describe you? So I wrote down 3. I don't know if you guys happened to write down 3 things when he said that, or if you had just even thought about it. But the first 3 that came to my mind is warrior, extraordinary, and supporter. And I'm really trying to use the word supporter more than helper, right? A helper would be, you guys are in my tree. I'm carrying you. A supporter is, you know what, you're going to be a beautiful tree by yourself. And I know you can, right? Like you can root yourself, grow your strong trunk, and grow your own branches. I'm going to support you in that, right? That's the difference between supporting and helping. Okay, so my new word is, I don't help people, I support people. Okay, there's a difference. Helping, I think, takes from us. Help, because then you're constantly like giving yourself out and then you're left with nothing. That's the giving tree. Okay, but I want you guys to kind of be the opposite of the giving tree, and I just want you to support people. Say, you know what, I know this is a really hard time that you're going through, but I know you're a strong woman and I know you're going to get through it. And I know that you know what you need to do to pull yourself through that. I'm going to be here to support you. Support. Okay? I'm not going to be here to fix you. I'm not going to tell you the magical thing that's just going to make you pull out of it. You got to figure that out. That's on you and your brain. Because I don't know what all is going on up here. Right? And so if I'm trying to help you, I can't help you. I don't really know what all is going on in your brain. But I can support that. I know you're going to get through it. I know you're a strong, capable warrior. And you're going to get through it. And I'm here to support you. Okay? But you got to do the work. I can't do the work for you, right? And that's just really more where I'm getting to, is like, I feel like I can support more people rather than helping people all the time, trying to help people. I just want to support. Okay? Woo! Good work today, ladies. You guys, good work this week in general. I know Monday through Thursday can feel exhausting sometimes when we're here. That's why I really like to keep like the weekend kind of lighter hearted. So tomorrow will be music day, which I'm back on my hotspot, so we're good to go. I should be able to play music and everything like that. So bring some songs, maybe some upbeat music that we haven't listened to yet. Kind of maybe like listen to the radio, or I don't know, listen to your favorite song, get some ideas, jot one down if you think about one. We'll do music tomorrow, and then Saturday will be yoga with Elika, and then Sunday we're going to do workout again. I liked that. I liked Sunday being a workout. Sorry about the mix up. I don't know what happened with my Zoom on Sunday. Green Day is what day? Is that tomorrow? Tomorrow is Green Day. There it is. Oh yeah, and I saw everybody had their braids. I love it. I see them. I had to try and braid my dreads. That was kind of interesting. I was like, oh, this is silly. But I did get one in. I love those, Amanda. And Elika, awesome. I love it. So yeah, so tomorrow's like free day, you know, so bring something to work on, bring something to read, or just kind of hang out and dance. You're totally fine to do that. That's usually what I end up doing. I always think I'm going to journal and then just end up like dancing the whole time. I'll try and journal and I'll start writing down like lyrics, and I'm like, this is not working. So tomorrow is lighthearted day. Let's just have some fun, celebrate all the hard work that we've done throughout the week. Saturday will bring us peace and love and connection. Sunday we work hard, and then back to the grind on Monday. I like what we got going here, ladies. I feel good work happening here. I know today can be a little hard, but I think that we need those days, and I think that we need to talk through this stuff, because doesn't it help? Like, doesn't it help knowing that somebody else could be having a bad day, and you're like, oh my gosh, Elika's having a bad day? Like, oh, I thought I was the only one that felt weird energy yesterday, you know? Like, there's power also when you can just come and talk about things and say, it's not my best day, you know, but I'm still working through it. I'm still showing up. I'm still here, and I know I'm going to come out on the other side of it. And just to bring it back to that freaking first thing I talked about, you guys, if you feel like you can't get out of your valley, you got to speak up, right? Like, do not ever let me find out the next day about one of you guys doing that, okay? Or look for the people in your circle too. Keep an eye on them too, okay? Because maybe you're strong, maybe you're here, but maybe they're not. So we got to keep an eye on them too. Okay, that's why I think it's so important for us to always reach down and support our other women too in our circle, okay? So we're gonna end on that today. Good work. Thank you guys so much for coming and letting me cry in the beginning. I was a little, but I really appreciate you guys. And obviously that means I'm super comfortable with you guys too. You know what I mean? Like, I just knew that I could come here and talk to you guys about it, and it would make me feel a little bit better too, which I already do. So I appreciate it. And now maybe I can take this energy and help and support Mike. Not help, support Mike, right? I'm still trying to switch my words. But I want to support him in whatever he needs to. But I need to be grounded and rooted and strong where I'm at in order to support somebody else. Okay? So thank you for providing that for me. And hopefully we can carry it on throughout the weekend. Cool? Let me get a picture and then we'll scoop. So everybody smile all pretty. Or maybe I should do a boomerang. We should do a boomerang. We haven't done one of those in a long time. Let's do one of those. Okay, let's see. The last time I couldn't hold my phone still. Okay, so I'm gonna go like 1, 2, 3, and everybody like move. Oh, Elika, I love it already. Okay, you ready? 1, 2, 3. Move. Ah! Oh my gosh, it's so freaking cute. Wait, let me see if you guys can see it. Uh, you guys have to look on my Instagram too. Molly, don't you look? You're driving. I see you. All right, girls. I'll tag you guys on Instagram. Make sure you guys let me know if you have an Instagram if I don't tag you. So you'll see it on Facebook or something. So love you, girls. Thank you guys so much for a great day. I really appreciate it. Have a good day.
Bye. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow.